321. John Miglosh for the Wisconsin DMA and the International Society for Strategic Marketing. One of the fun things about Periscope and LinkedIn and social media is you get interaction. So we're going to talk a little bit about the interaction I had since yesterday, which probably is good. I learned a lot. But before we do that, we'll start off with the news items for the day. And I'm watching the comments to see who's commenting here. So there you go. There's my friend in Phoenix. I'm looking for my friend in Portland because I actually connected up with him in LinkedIn, and now I know who he is. Now you can make comments. And that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for a lot of interaction in the next, it took me a year, and, you say, well, today you weren't on time. Yes, I know. It took me a year to get going here, but I'm comfortable. Yeah, there's Jerry. Hi, Jerry. I'm one of these days I'm going to actually be looking for comments, but since I get so few, what's the point? Anyway, Twitter admits to misusing personal data for advertising purposes. What's so funny about this is they admitted that some email addresses and phone numbers, which were provided purely for security reasons, such as two-factor identification, were exposed through its tailored audiences and partner audiences advertising systems. Well, what happened was, you decided you wanted two-party verification. So an advertiser that wanted to advertise on Twitter wanted to advertise to their customers. Okay? Now, how do you match it up? You probably used a fake email, a little used email, let's just say, to get on Twitter because you didn't want anybody to know who you were. And but you had to use your real one to get your verification. Well, this outside advertiser, maybe you signed up for Netflix and got the free week and agreed to other uses or something. That gets your email and your identity way out there and all over the internet and probably the dark web. And so they matched it up on that, on your real email. Did Twitter give them your email? No, they had it. You gave it to them. But now they can advertise to you on Twitter knowing it's you, knowing that you have some interest in their product because you visited their website or got a free offer or somehow gave them your email. So there's no sense in which Twitter's giving away information. All they're doing is matching the information. And what's getting a little hard is that somehow millennials and regulators are thinking that this is somehow a misuse of data, when actually it's all in an effort to make your advertising more relevant to you, right? You gave the advertiser your email somehow, and you gave Twitter your email somehow, and they matched them up on that basis. How is that a misuse? It's not even sneaky. And they got in trouble. No personal data was ever shared externally. Why are they apologizing? I'd say, there's nothing wrong with this. Anyway, in August, they fessed up to improperly sharing personal data such as users' country code with advertisers. And I said at the time, that any browser will give you the country code. Anytime you visit a website, it gives you your country code. Now, for the Olympics, I use a VPN link, go through England so I can get decent Olympics coverage, and they block that because they know which servers are fake in England and stuff. Doesn't work. We get figure skating and women's gymnastics for dozens of hours, but we won't get one good sailboat race or one good downhill ski race in its entirety. Anyway, let's go on. So Twitter, man up. Let's go. You're not doing anything wrong. You're just helping people. Like Google says. Google never confesses anything. Google says, we just help people. And we can cooperate with all the regulators, so leave us alone. Yeah, okay. I'm much more scared about Google. Anyway, I was interested in this article because climate's been in the news a lot in the last few minutes, and that's kind of how this works. Is that whatever is in the news in the last few minutes goes up in these polls. But this is a multi-year poll, so I'm not so suspicious of it. I don't know when the survey was actually taken. But climate moved from 12th to 6th, although I'm really happy pollution moved up from 3 to 2. And, so it wasn't like it went to the top of the chart. I was going to cite this article for the power of the media, but instead I found this good quote. When times are tough, people focus on value and price. When times are better, social issues become more important. Very perceptive. And, given that the media is now pushing recession to counter a noted spokesperson for the golden age of the economy. They also said that greenwashing is a kiss of death. And that brings me over to Procter & Gamble, which at their annual shareholders meeting yesterday or the day before, there was huge protests. I don't see any protests. This is just the green. But there were protests saying that they're using old growth forests to make Charmin toilet paper, which is hard to believe because, toilet paper is less critical fiber-wise than is like good paper, any kind of paper. And paper, by and large, is fast-growing, pulpy trees. They're basically a crop. Paper is one of the most renewable resources we have. It basically takes the sun and CO2 from the air and makes it into paper. So the likelihood of this being true is slim, and I would have a lot of skepticism. Are people cutting the Canadian boreal forest? Don't know. I just know that old forests don't absorb CO2 as fast as new forests. And we have a lot of land we could forest. And I'm voting for the Sahara Desert. There's actually ways to reclaim the desert. And so let's plant more desert trees. And the Canadian forests, I'm sure, will be replanted. And some of the replanted areas, like over strip mines in Pennsylvania, are more beautiful than any place in the country. 20 years, 30 years later. It's just amazing how you can reclaim all this stuff. So I'm not terribly concerned. They're also now realizing that they want to mix in other kinds of trees so that they have some ethnic diversity in the forests, because they used to just replant one kind of tree. So anyway, the company says it does all that. But don't greenwash, and if you want really good toilet paper, Green Forest, Natural Value, and 7th Generation get A grades. Okay. Now, after all that, I wanted to say thanks to Andrew and Josh for informing me about yesterday's crisis that I raised, which was that people are going to sue about blind accessibility on the web. Yes, they are. And Josh mentioned that all his decently sized clients since February have been getting lawsuit threats. And this one blind Navy veteran filed more than 120 lawsuits against city and county governments around Jacksonville, Florida, saying their websites aren't accessible to people like him. And what Andrew said was, it's not so impossible as you think. So I went and did some research. Here's what let's say a website looks like to the blind, but when their tools,
which is the name of this online portal, link image nav underline home.gif, link image nav underline news.gif,
link image nav underline. Okay, so when the tool interacts with this site, which looks like old HTML, there is no image name, there is no link name. Okay, it's as simple as that. Now they make the site more accessible, and they go over here and you get the same site made accessible.
Link, news. Link, tickets. Survey, clickable. Favorite park. Which is your favorite city park? None. Radio button, 1 of 6.
There you go.
Central Park.
Now, I also got called out by Josh for saying, well, we don't sue car makers because cars aren't drivable blind. And I ran across this really great story, and I'll just share that.
About your lifelong dream of driving all by yourself, and we are more than happy to make this happen.
This is a guy who's been a car mechanic his whole life. He's blind, and his son wrote all kinds of companies trying to get a way for him to drive blind. Okay? And he finally made it happen, and this was a Braille letter from...
It would be you in this beautiful car in the endless desert of Alvoid Lake, Oregon. No boundaries, no speed limits, even better than the German Autobahn.
I don't know about that.
Better than the German
Are
Autobahn.
you up for a ride? Your fans at Mercedes-Benz.
Fans at Mercedes-Benz.
You love your son, Brendan.
My father's been blind since birth, but nevertheless, he's always been a huge car guy, just a total petrol head. And so that's obviously why he became a mechanic. He just loves cars and everything about them.
Open the hood. Oh, it's right here. I didn't see it.
Greetings, Earthling. Thank you.
This is the handcrafted placard.
Okay, so anyway, let's just watch this part. Here he's going, and he's going 110 across this dried up lake.
Going 110 miles an hour, dude.
Isn't that great? So the truth is about websites, the truth is that you can make a website readable for the blind. And if you're doing e-commerce, you should. Okay? It's just that simple. And so good for the Ninth Circuit. Sorry, I into their rulings are crazy. And good for the Supreme Court. And good for America. I remember going across London from Heathrow up to the Hilton on the northeast side of London, and I decided that the underground is perfectly usable. And so my wife and I dragged our carry-on luggage through the public transportation, which wasn't too bad at the airport because they have ramps and stuff. But in the actual underground, you had to transfer. I won't forget. There's a transfer spot right close to where we were, over by the National History Museum and Natural History Museum, and we had to lug it up the stairs and lug it down the stairs, and there was no accessibility whatsoever. And you know, I take that for granted as I lug luggage around the United States of America, that the Americans with Disabilities Act actually has made travel possible. And it's especially important if you're getting older and you got wheels on your luggage. I saw a new bag that I'm going to get eventually, I think, which has a motor in it. It's a carry-on that goes 7 miles an hour. You can zip through O'Hare with it. Oh, I can't wait, man. I'm getting that. And so, but it works in the United States. It would not help you in England and probably most places in the world. So social concerns are a valid concern, and maybe I'm apologizing. No, not a chance. But I'm grateful. I'm grateful to Josh and Andrew for straightening me out, and let's fix those websites, and let's keep our curbs accessible. Have a great day. Like and share. Your friends will think you're smart. I'm John